This is gonna. Alright, Shalom, y'all. I want to give all praise to Yahweh Shemi Shai. Double honors to the apostles and elders of Great Millstone. Salutations to the Akim out there spreading this truth like wildfire. And Shalom to the real sisters out there. Alright. Just watched the video on weapons from China. Basically brought out the weapons from China were caught, in the U.S. They're being smuggled. They're made to look like wasn't weapons. It was something else. There was actually weapons that were smuggled into the U.S. for the Civil War. Bring out scriptures on it. I want to bring out that article. I mean that video by that brother.
But when he Salakia, I had this when he sees us. Shalom. First and foremost, giving all praises unto Yahweh, Ba'ashem El Shah, Ba'ashem Hakwadash. Giving double honors to our apostles and elders of Great Millstone. Shalom salutation. To all you sincere icons across the four winds, pushing this truth with sincerity of heart. I'm your fellow servant, Kasama God from the DC camp. And I'm coming at you through the spirit and power of Yahweh, Ba'ashem El Shah, Ba'ashem Hakwadash, to feed the elect. And this video, I want to go into something that I pretty much heard earlier when I was listening to what's that, Alex Jones show. Alex Jones, he's been around for almost 30 years, man, getting into conspiracy theories. I mean, some of the stuff, is bogus, but some of the stuff is actually legit. You can actually go and look it up, and you'll find out that it's legit information. You know what I'm saying? So that's why I still listen from time to time, especially in the times that we're in now. You definitely want to have the scoop. It's good to know the scriptures, but you have to be able to mirror the scriptures with actual events that are happening. That's how you kind of, you're able to keep up with prophecy, right? Up to date prophecy, and right now it's clear. It's clear to us that we're going into the time of sedition, uprisings, revolts, and the Civil War. Okay, and this is off of the U.S. Customs and Border Protection, and it states that 10,800 assault weapon parts seized by the CBP in Louisville. It says Louisville, Kentucky. It says at the Express, and this is dated June 26, 2020. It says at the Express consignment operations hubs in Louisville, U.S. Customs and Border Protection (CBP) officers seized a shipment from China that contained over 10,000 assault weapons parts being smuggled into the country. And of course, the conspiracy is that the Moabites, the Chinese, they're known as Moab in the scriptures in the Bible. They not only Moab, but also all these nations that are anti-Babylonian. When I said Babylonian, Babylon is just like it's a spiritual name for the United States of America. So when you go into the scriptures and you read about Babylon, in particular, the virgin daughter of Babylon spoken of in the book of Revelation, it's speaking about the United States of America. So America has a lot of America does have allies, of course, but America also does have enemies. Okay, Russia, China, Iran. Those are the three top enemies of America right now on a political scale. Now, the biggest enemy of the Edomite as a whole and the nation is the nation of Israel, so-called Negroes, Hispanics, and Native Americans. Although we don't have a political standing in the world, we do have a spiritual standing which pretty much trumps, no pun intended, which trumps the political standing. Because at the end of the day, the spiritual rulers of this world is who? It's us. Beginning with the elect. 144,000 and the remaining of the 1/3. Okay? But as of right now, what we supposed to do as Israelites, we supposed to witness the nations destroy each other, right? As they try to pretty much take over the earth, and they're trying to jock for position of who's going to be the next ruler. But now dealing with Edom, Esau, in America, how this place is going down first is from within. All right, a nation that's divided against itself cannot stand. That's why the Civil War is going to bring about the collapse of the society. And all of these nations, right, abroad, overseas are well aware. So America's enemies would definitely play a hand in trying to facilitate and aid into the downfall of their enemies. So, guns and parts and weapons smuggling being caught right now, it's not a coincidence. It's always happened, but it's happening more now. Why? Because China knows that a civil war is coming to America. All these other nations know a civil war is coming to America. So, of course, they want to aid that civil war, because if they feel like if they don't have to take down America via thermonuclear missiles in this upcoming Third World War, they figure, hey, if this place can implode from within, so they won't have to go that route, then they will aid, and into the downfall of this place. But it's not going to go down that way. It's not going to be that easy. Yes, you're going to have a civil war in America, death saith the scriptures, which I'm going to bring that up. But that's not going to be how America is going out. That's not how Babylon is going out. Babylon is going out via thermonuclear missiles, which I'm going to bring that out as well. So let's read more in this article. It says the shipment was seized on May 22nd. Officers inspected the items, which were arriving from Shenzhen, China, destined for a residence in Melbourne, Florida. The parcel was manifested as containing 100 steel penny samples. This is a common practice of smugglers manifesting the contraband as a harmless or a legitimate commodity in hopes of eluding further examinations. Right, because you have strict gun measures that were put in a lot of these different states. So a lot of people are aware that the Civil War is coming, so they still want to, people that have a criminal background or people that have certain things in their background that would not allow them to have possession of a firearm, they engage into the contraband, because people want to get ready for this war that's coming. Okay, the carnal mind, will run to what the carnal mind believes is the most powerful protection when the society collapse. But the spiritual mind knows to hide behind the power that be, which the true power, not the power that be, the true power, which is the Heavenly Father Yahweh, whom the world ignorantly calls God, and His Son, His only begotten Son, Yahweh Shah, whom the world has ignorantly called and known as Jesus Christ. Alright, so those are the powers that we hide to. That's the strong tower that we run to. Okay, not guns. Okay, but this is the mindset of the people because that's where we're going. This is prophecy, right? It says the paragraph. It says in quotation, the importance of any type of munitions is regulated by the ATF, said Thomas Mann, Port Director, Louisville. This smuggler was knowingly trying to avoid detection. However, how our officers remain vigilant, ensuring our community is safe. Right? I mean, the gun sales shot up to what 80%. Everybody's trying to get strapped. I was just the last two females that I spoke to that kind of got the tingling feeling that some shit get ready to pop off. All of them said the same thing, but both all of them were strapped, and they were talking about actually getting more weapons. So that's the mindset of the carnal mind. That's what we going. This is prophecy, man. And with these elections, upcoming elections, and with the breaking news that Trump might have had COVID, if something happened to Trump and he passes, civil war is gonna break out because the rumor is gonna be that he got poisoned, that he got murdered, which those things happened in ancient Rome. The ancient Caesars were known for poisoning each other, committing assassinations. America has had assassinations before in its history, so this is nothing new. America is the reincarnation of ancient Rome, and things are happening the same way that happened back then. It just looks a little bit more modern, where they're not going to put a poison or they're not going to put mercury on somebody's food because it'll be easily traceable, right? But if you got a virus and all that other stuff going on, and then you can have whatever technology you have and create new ways to poison and kill people. It's still happening. These things are still happening. And when these Caesars got killed, when these Salakia, I had this. When these Caesars got killed, basically all hell broke loose. All right, so Salakia, that had a slight interruption, but basically, man, I'm at back. Salakia, Akim, Salakia.
Alright, so basically, he brought out that the Moabites in China, basically, he smuggled weapon, like they try to sneak weapons. They was caught trying to sneak weapons into the U.S. And just in time for what? The civil unrest, the civil war that's upcoming. These nations be watching. These nations be watching. America be watching what's going on in Babylon, and this is what Babylon has done to these nations around the world. Arm the opposition, like starting with our people. They would arm one side of a conflict, and that's what they continue to do. A side of a conflict that would represent their interests, or to weaken a nation. They would fund a terrorist group or some rebel group just to weaken that nation, or because for regime change. This is America's history, and now, as you can see, it's being done to Babylon. It's being done to America, and that's Isaiah 33 verse 1 all the way. Woe to thee that spoilest, and that was not spoiled, and dealest treacherously, and they dealt not treacherously with thee. When thou shalt cease to spoil, thou shalt be spoiled. And when thou shalt make an end to deal treacherously, they shall deal treacherously with thee. These nations, they that eat the bread of Babylon, it's some of these nations that are actually that are also enemies, but even China, in a way eats the bread of Babylon. And that's Obadiah. Yeah, that's Obadiah. It's in Obadiah chapter 1, it's just all one chapter, but it's Obadiah chapter 1. Obadiah chapter 1, verse 7. All the men of thy confederacy have brought thee even to the border. The men that were at peace with thee have deceived thee, and prevailed against thee. They that eat thy bread have laid a wound under thee. There is none understanding in him, and this one was caught. But what about Esau come with what about, China, Russia, or even Russia? Like how much other weapons have not been caught by Esau and has gotten into the hands of people. You know what I'm saying? So Esau is being brought down because they know Isaiah chapter 19 verse 2 is happening. And the spirit, and I will set the Egyptians against the Egyptians, and they shall fight every one against his neighbor, city against city, and kingdom against kingdom. And they know that's going to cause the spirit of Egypt to fail in the midst thereof, according to verse 3. And he is destroying the counsel thereof. They shall seek to the idols and the charmers, and them that have familiar spirits and the wizards. Yup. So basically, this place is through. It's divided. The house divided cannot stand, according to Matthew chapter 12, verses 25 and 26. So, and Yahweh knew their thoughts and said unto them, every kingdom divided against itself is brought to desolation, and every city or house divided against itself cannot stand. Verse 26, and the Satan cast out Satan, he's divided against himself, how shall then his kingdom stand? And if they can take down this place, another way, which they won't be able to, but if they can, if the nations think they can, then they're gonna do it. They're gonna attempt that, And also Jeremiah 51 verse 2. This is kind of the fulfillment of this as well. You think about it. And I will send unto Babylon fanners that shall fan her, and shall empty her land. For in the day of trouble they shall be against her round about. Yeah. Also that too. There's going to be war from within. Yeah. Verse 14. The Lord, Yahweh Hashem Yahushua, the Lord of hosts, has sworn by himself, saying, I will fill thee with men as with caterpillars, and they shall lift up a shout against thee. Verse 15, he had made the earth by his power. He is, man. Yeah. Because Yahweh Hashem Yahushua has raised up the spirit of the kings of the Medes, and that's Russia, and China's with Russia. Yeah. Make bright the arrows, gather the shields. Yahweh Hashem Yahushua has raised the spirit of the kings of the Medes for his devices against Babylon to destroy it, because of it's the vengeance of Yahweh Hashem Yahushua, the vengeance of his temple. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, set up the standard upon the walls of Babylon, make the watch strong. Set up the watchmen, prepare the ambushes, for Yahweh Shemi Shai had both devised and done that which he spake against the inhabitants of Babylon. Yup. And this is one of the things he's going to do. To this place that dwelt upon many waters, abundance and treasures. Thine end is come, Babylon, and the measure of thy covetousness. Verse 13, man. Yeah, verse 14, Yahweh Shemi Shai of hosts has sworn by himself, saying, surely I will fill thee with men. You see this, as with caterpillars, and they shall lift up a shout against you. Hey, not only are they gonna arm, their own people, they gonna arm people in Babylon. They're gonna arm one side of the civil war in Babylon. You may have Babylon, you already have Russian and Chinese troops that are ready to go. So I mean, there's that too. Like, let's just say they will. You don't have them aiding them as well. Doing onto Babylon they did to them, to these other nations, and what they attempted to do to them. What Babylon has done to everybody is being done back to them. So I hope this live was edifying. This was a news update, and I want to give all praise to Yahweh Shemi Shai, double honors to the apostles and elders of Great Millstone. Salutations to the Akim out there, spreading this truth like wildfire. Shalom to the Israelite foreigners who look like the other nations, but the Spirit bears witness that they're the children of Yahweh Shemi Shai. And shalom to the real sisters out there. Let me see if there's anything else I can get. If not, I'll wrap it up. Yeah, shalom. Until next time, stay strong. Akim and Aqua, the hopeful elect out there. We almost out of here. Shalom. And Yasharala forever. Yeah. Stay strong.